Hey Doug, hey Doug. Doug. Hey, did Rob Milne ever? Did Rob Milne ever give you a? Because I thought he said he gave you a little drawing split out.
Did the airport?
Yeah.
The one that he just submitted?
Okay, he did submit. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
It's on the thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Airport lot.
Okay.
Isn't that yours, Bowman? No, that's not yours. You might not have it done yet, but yeah, I reviewed something out there at the airport already.
Okay. Yeah.
They're slammed. What?
It's 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm getting pissed.
You need to get on him, man.
Let the record show at 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Sarah, would you please do the roll call?
Eddie Goppenhauer.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Eric Ball.
Here.
Kaylee Morton. Tim Lewis.
Present.
Daniel Gant. Nick Field.
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum this evening. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. There's been no changes to it as far as I'm aware. I need a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Deal to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda is the open governmental process. If anyone is in the audience that has signed up prior to the meeting, wishes to speak, it's their opportunity.
No.
All right, let the record show that there is no one to speak. Next item is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion-
Excuse me, ma'am. Hold on just a minute. The gentleman seems to be indicating in the back. Did you want to speak, sir? Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry.
False alarm, right?
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. We will begin our public hearings. We have several this evening. The first one is Pilgrims Industrial.
Yes, this is a request for a sketch plan advancement for the project Pilgrim Industrial. It's Llama case file 2203-081. The developer is Penrose Property Company LLC and the engineer is Butler Engineering. It's located at Mill Creek District, Map 3, parcels 2.3 and 29, and Map 6, parcels 1.3, 1.4, 2, 3, and 4. The location is located east of I-81, north of Jaredstown Road, and west of Pilgrim Street. This project proposes a 1,434,892 square foot warehouse facility and relocation of the existing Berkeley County recycling facility on approximately 154 acres to be served by public water and sewer. There are no waivers or exceptions that have been requested. On May 2nd, 2022, the county engineer, Doug Smith, issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. The staff recommendation is that the sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary stage.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent Pilgrims Industrial?
Good evening, John Wright with Butler.
Thank you. This is a public hearing for Pilgrim Industrial. You heard the description. If you have questions or comments regarding this project, please come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have regarding this project.
Looks like there are none, so let's close public hearing. Second.
Okay, let the record show that there is no public comment. I have a motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Goppenhauer to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Wright or of the staff?
Only question I have, it appears as if the bulk of the traffic will go to the most westward road to keep them out, basically out of the roundabout. Is that?
So the way the access is set up here, there's 2 access points on 51 and then 2 on Pilgrim Street. So all the truck traffic will navigate the roundabout. The south end has been designed for that. So truck traffic will enter off of Pilgrim Street, and off vehicular traffic will come off of Route 51.
Yeah, like for the employees.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That's such, but it looks as if the way you have it designed, that for the most part, you should be able to keep a lot of that truck traffic out of the roundabouts, other than the one right at 81.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
that's
that's
what I'm
correct.
asking.
Yeah.
And that's what it appeared. I just want to make sure I was clear on that. Very good. That's it.
Any additional questions, planning commission members? If there's no questions, can I have a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I will make the motion to accept staff recommendation for advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant the preliminary plan, removing the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next public hearing is Bridal Creek.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Bridal Creek Phase 7. The llama case number is 2201-029. The developer is Panhandle Homes and the engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Opequon District, tax map 10, parcel 20.1. This site is located along the east side of Barrel Race Road within the Bridal Creek subdivision, adjacent to and accessed from Phase 5. This phase proposes 96 townhome lots on approximately 21 acres to be served by public water and sewer. There are no waivers or exceptions that have been requested. On May 2nd, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. And staff recommendation is that it meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the prelim plan stage.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, Steve Stianovich, Fox and Associates, representing Panhandle Homes of Berkeley County.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is a public hearing for Bridal Creek. If you have questions, comments, please come forward, give us your name and any comments you might have. Let the record show that there is no one from the public to speak.
So I move public hearing be closed then.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gokenhour to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Stianovich?
Hearing none, ma'am. I make a motion we accept staff recommendation for advancement of sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant preliminary plan, to take the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
The next public hearing is Fort Evans, sketch plan advancement.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Fort Evans and the file number is 2202-050, tied to number 2202-055. The developer is DR Acquisitions LLC and the engineer is Fox and Associates. The location is at the Arden District, tax map 10, parcel 12.3. This site is located along the west side of Winchester Avenue, with access being located approximately 500 feet north of Evans Run Drive. This project proposes 32 single-family attached lots on approximately 5.3 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the March 21st, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A8 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance requiring 3 parking spaces per dwelling unit, with a minimum of 1 parking space per dwelling unit being off-site, contingent on the following items. Number 1, the depth of the driveway, stacking, or stall depth shall be measured from the right-of-way line, not the rear of the sidewalk. Number 2, the stacking length per vehicle shall be 19 feet, and the total length for 2 vehicles shall be 38 feet. Number 3, the width of the driveway shall be 10 feet. And then number 4, the driveway area shall not compose more than 50% of the front yard area. On May 2nd, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. And according to staff recommendation, the plan meets the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary stage.
Okay, again, this is a public hearing. Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Stianovich, Fox and Associates, representing the project, and I would like to clarify one of the statements that were made, if I could be given an opportunity at some time during this public hearing. It deals with the waivers that were granted, or the parking waiver that was granted. I don't believe what was read into the record this evening was what was discussed and agreed upon at the Planning Commission meeting.
It's not. It's not correct. It's not what we agreed to.
So what is?
It's not what you agreed.
Yeah.
In general, it's accurate. One exception,
There's a few things that were tweaked with it.
one thing that caught my eye,
I can change it right now.
no, I don't want to change it, what's recorded, unless you, what was written as a record.
Well, that's what I'll double check and make sure that the waiver approval result letter was what was agreed upon at I think it was the second meeting.
It was, because it was tabled, so we provided additional information.
Right.
In general, I believe the 38-foot dimension that was cited as far as the depth of the parking was in fact measured from the back of the sidewalk. So when 2 cars are nose to tail, regardless where the property line is, there's still adequate depth to get 2 cars nose to tail. That was one of the big ones that caught my eye, caught my ear whenever it was read earlier this year.
Number 3 and number 4 were on call.
Well, how do you plan to correct this?
Well, so I think it's just the verbiage in the staff report that we have in front of us that's incorrect, because what was approved at the planning commission meeting was correct, which was what made the sketch plan compliant. So it'll be a update to the staff report of record, but for sketch plan's sake, the sketch plan's compliant. It's just the information that I put for the waiver was incorrect. This was what was proposed, and then you remember we went back and forth and we came to a common understanding. So this was the first draft. I don't have the right information for what was agreed upon between all of us and then what was approved by planning commission.
Well, but how does that affect?
How do we fix the record on that?
Yeah.
I can try to pull up the result letter right now, or I can go back and get it off the computer, but
The information that was read this evening was staff's recommendation at the first planning commission. And the commission tabled it. We went back and provided, as you may recall, additional information. And then staff came up with subsequent information that was presented at the next meeting once it was untabled and discussed further. So I think that's where the problem is. The staff report contains the county engineer's recommendations or requirements that were presented under the initial meeting and not the follow-up meeting where the waiver was approved.
He's going to make some corrections in it real quick.
no,
So we can break it down in the record.
Okay. Do you want to wait on it?
yeah.
Is it going to take very long? Shall we?
Want to move on to the next one?
I mean, it's
Can
up
we
to
just
them.
table this and we'll circle back.
Yeah, let's do
Move
that.
to table it until we
So
get
Okay.
Yeah.
record.
Yeah, let's just table it for 10, 15 minutes until he gets everything corrected.
Okay.
Okay, motion to table for 15?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Deal to table for 15 minutes until we can get the accurate information. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll table this and then we'll move on. The next public hearing is Butler, airport lots.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Airport Lots Bowman Development. The file is 2204-110. The developer is Bowman Group and the engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Arden District, tax map 15, parcel 9.1, and is located along the south side of Novak Drive, approximately 0.20 mile east of the intersection with Winchester Avenue. This project proposes a 120,000 square foot warehouse building on approximately 11 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On May 16, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Stianovich, Fox and Associates, representing the applicant.
You're kind of the man of the hour, aren't you?
A little busy this evening, yeah.
Well, you can keep you on your toes. Okay, this is a public hearing for the Bowman Group, airport lots. Is there any public comment regarding this project?
I have a memorial.
Let's have your name first,
Oh,
please.
my name is Matthew Weaver.
Okay. Alrighty.
I have a memorial site near that area. This year made 20 years that my friend died from a drunk driver. And so I put a little, like a little flower garden there, and I do all the maintenance. I mow the grass, I pick up the trash, so the state don't have to worry about it. And I saw the sign, and I was wondering if the sketch plan advancement is if my little area is going to affect what's going on.
Mr. Smith, are you aware of this area?
I'm not aware of any more. If it is within the state right of way, then the development, and it's not within the driveway, it's within the area, then more than likely it would not be disturbed and it would continue on as it has. If it's outside the right of way area onto the applicant's property, then that does present a problem.
Are you aware of that, Mr. Stianovich?
I'm unaware of what this gentleman just explained, but one thing I would add, that the right-of-way of Novak Drive is very wide at that location. And the lane we all physically travel on is tucked to the north side of that right-of-way. So if it's located a few feet, 10, 15 feet from the edge of the road, then I think without question, it would be located within the state right-of-way.
Yeah.
Is it, sir, is it on the, if you're going from like Sheets out toward the airport, is it on the left or the right?
If we're headed towards Sheets, it's on the left.
If I'm going from Sheets toward the airport?
It will be on the right.
On the right. Okay.
Excuse me, that would be the same side of the road.
Yeah.
Our survey crew, when they were out there, they didn't locate anything.
Do you know how big the memorial area is, Mr. Weaver?
I have a picture if you want to see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to place where it is. That's the rest of that's all right off the right of way, is all airport property there.
I've driven through there a number of times, and it never caught my eye, but I wasn't looking for it either.
Yeah, there's another one on the other side of that, over on the other end of Novak that I'm familiar with. find it?
Do you know how big the area is?
Yeah, yeah. I can take a better picture.
From that photograph, I can't tell. There's nothing in the photo that would tell me it's on top of our property, 100 feet east or west of the property.
How long's it looked exactly like that photo?
April 23rd, made it 20 years, so like April 20th
April 20th of this year?
of this year, yes, ma'am.
And it looks like that today?
Yes, ma'am, it has the rocks around it, but like I said, I make sure that the grass is mowed and so the state don't have to worry about it and the trash is picked up.
Right.
It's just right before you get to that, those two little roads on the
Yes.
right that go out to that.
Yeah, it's about, I would say 15 or 18 feet away from it. Yes.
I know where. Hey, Steve, do you recall so if you're there's your phone. Put your phone down. You know those two roads that go into the other property? They just put a little fence around that one area.
Yes.
It's up there. It's up toward that. I don't think that it's in this immediate vicinity, but I can't swear to that.
We usually have survey crews down there in that general area, every 2-3 days. I'll have somebody swing by there and locate it.
I mean,
we'll all know where it is.
Yeah,
But
I drive by it every single day. So
I'm thinking, given the width of the reservation of the right of way, that without question, this
it's
is
definitely in the state
DOH right of way.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their views are on these type of monuments and memorials.
Yeah. Do you know anything, Mr. Gokenhour?
I don't. I would think that, I agree. It sounds to me as if it is in the DOH right away more than likely. How far off the edge of the road is it, Mr. Weaver?
Show him that picture. Show Mr. Gokenhour that picture. It's kind of hard to miss.
The other photo he just took, or showed me, it was a view kind of looking toward Sheets. Am I looking at it?
Yeah,
I'm looking toward Sheets. I'm looking west. There's a piece of guardrail terminus there that I would have located with. We did a drone survey of this,
Right.
so I can look at the photo tomorrow. That'll help identify.
Show Mr. Gokenhour the photo, please.
I'm saying is, if it's on the
That's before I.
state right away, which would be my guess, we don't have any jurisdiction over that whatsoever. And if it's perhaps where they would do their driveway entrance for this project, that might be a little bit different. But I don't think we have anything in that whatsoever, unless it's on private property. And it doesn't look to me like it is. If it is on private property, then that's up to the gentleman that owns the property.
Yes, sir.
So I know these memorials are all up and down different roads and
Yeah.
interstates, and I get it. I
Yeah.
do. I get it. But I don't have an answer for
Yeah.
you for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if it is in the state right of way, we definitely have no authority over that site, and I don't know what the state's position is on them. I know, like I say, unfortunately, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
It might be to your advantage, Mr. Weaver, to just check with the highway department to see if it is in the right of way and what their position is regarding memorials like that, because it's like Mr. Gokenhour said, they're all up and down many roads in Berkeley County, and I'm sure the highway department must have some form of maintenance or awareness that those memorials are there. So
I would envision there must be some type of hold harmless agreement with some of the executive.
okay.
I would think that if you asked, you may in fact be denied. That would be
Well, I was getting ready to say, I was getting ready to think the same thing. If it's in state road right away there, I mean, it's been there that long, they're probably not going to mess with it. However, if you do run into an issue there, I run the airport and we own most of that property right outside of the right of way there. And so if you'll give me a call, if in fact there's a problem there, we could try to maybe find somewhere just on the corner of the airport property where it's not going to be in the way of anybody there, if in fact it is. But I don't think that this goes all the way up to that corner there, but I might be wrong.
The last photograph that Mr. Weaver shared did show a piece of the traffic barrier. And the traffic barriers along our frontage, nearly the entire frontage. Yet when you were looking at the memorial in the photograph, traffic barrier, the guardrail, was further away. So
Yeah.
we'll have to get it located and see if it impacts, because we do have an entrance proposed near that location.
Yeah, that's
Miss
true.
Mrs. Hamilton, you have your hand up back there. It's still a public hearing. You want to give us your intake on
Well,
this?
I do want to share West Virginia Department of Highways, Chapter 17 Code, Article 20 addresses this. And basically what it says is, you're fine to have it there in the right of way, but it gives you all the specifications. It's just pretty much their liability. If you'll share your number with me, I'll send this to you so you have the code.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks.
Take care of that. Okay, any other comments from the public regarding airport lots?
If there are none, I move to close public hearing.
Okay, let the record show that we've finished the public hearing. I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close.
Second.
Second, Mr. Gokenhour. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or the staff?
Hearing none, ma'am, we make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for advancement of the sketch plan to preliminary plan stage.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to advance the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage for airport lots. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's go back now and pick up Fort Evans.
Table.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff and a second by Mr. Deal to untable. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're ready to hear the revised staff recommendation. Are you gonna give it to us as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the recommendation stays the same, he just has the result letter for what
Okay.
the waiver was
Okay.
really approved for
All right.
in April.
Okay, so you wanna read the staff recommendation from the beginning, at the March meeting of the staff report?
I'll just start it over.
Okay, thank you. You don't have to start from the very beginning, just start from the portion where it says waiver exemption.
Okay. At the March 21st, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A8 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance, requiring 3 parking spaces per dwelling unit, with a minimum of 1 parking space per dwelling unit being off-site, contingent on the following items. And here's the correct following items.
Okay,
The depth of the driveway shall be measured from the back of the sidewalk, lots of side of the sidewalk, to the face of the dwelling. The stacking length per vehicle shall be 19 feet, and the total length for 2 vehicles shall be 38 feet. The clear width cartway of Mulhall Drive shall be 22.5 feet. No parking signs shall be installed along the street where on-street parking is not provided, and the overall impervious surface of the project site shall not exceed 60%.
60.
Yes, ma'am, 60%. On May 2nd, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance. The staff recommendation says that it meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the prelim plan stage.
Okay. Mr. Stianovich, does that agree with what you think it should be? Or what you recall it should be?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Okay, Planning Commission members, do you have any additional? Oh, I'm sorry.
I move public hearing be closed.
I'm not sure if the public's got an opportunity to speak yet.
You're right, okay. Again, I'm sorry, this is a public hearing for Fort Evans. Questions or comments at this time, please?
Move public hearing be closed if there
Huh?
looks like there is a comment.
I'm John Slough, and I talked to you last meeting, okay? And we were talking about the sewer problems at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But I assume that the sewer problems have been solved. I don't see any difference in my smell out there. It's about the same thing. And that's what I'm concerned about on this. I didn't get to see a sketch plan of this. And I've been extremely busy today. And somebody came by my house last night and asked me to come tonight. And I had a busy night. And what I was concerned about is that I live at 150 Evans Run Drive. That's downhill from this whole development. And what is the stormwater management here that's going to take place for this? Where is it going to go? Just this one pond behind the house?
Just go ahead and give us all your questions, and then we'll answer them at the beginning.
Well, I'm concerned about stormwater management because of what happens. It's a good distance on the height between my house at the corner of Evans Run Drive and the hill that this is being built on back there. And there's a lot of congestion. You're talking about a lot of asphalt up there that's going to be runoff. And the only stormwater management I see here is that pond in front of it behind Carpet World. And behind old Fort Evans.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, I'm concerned because what happens is I'm downhill and it's going to be water all over the place. I just don't want that there.
Of course not, yeah.
Okay? And I'm still concerned about the smell we talked about before. And I know this has probably been avoided because they're not exiting into that sewer pipe, right?
I don't know that answer. Mr. Sianovich will answer that question for you.
Does anything go into the sewer that's coming down Evans Run Drive?
I'd like to address the commission. If you have further questions, then I'll address them all.
Okay, you can address it. That's my question.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
There were two questions that were posed. One was the stormwater management design for the project. The gentleman is correct that there's one stormwater management pond proposed. There is one outlet that will discharge into Evans Run. I'd also like to add that when we look at the existing condition land uses in this project, there's a lot of woods and meadow and low runoff generators. So the design that we did for the stormwater has a very, very small target release rate. And in this particular instance, we did take a look at all the storm events, and we ended up having we designed quantitative control measures for all the storm events. I don't think you're going to see, with the use of fire retention areas and under drains and things like that, I think it's going to be a negligible impact to the flow that goes into Evans Run for a couple of reasons. Number one, the size of the outlet devices are such on this design, or in this design, that only a little bit of water can leave our stormwater management structure. When, without question, or also let me back up, project site's about 5 acres in size. The contributing drainage area to Evans Run proper is much larger compared to our site. So I think the bulk of the drainage you're going to see from this facility, or into the Evans Run, that the residents will notice when we get heavier rains, is going to be from upstream areas that are far upstream with large drainage areas. That with our design, even, with the site being 5 acres in size, with a large stormwater management structure, we're going to have negligible impact on the drainage that flows to Evans Run. And also, I'm sure County Engineer Smith can comment that our design was such that we did a very detailed design under the sketch plan, where it really isn't a requirement, but we opted to do it under sketch plan to demonstrate that the stormwater proposed is more than compliant in the county's criteria.
Okay, I was just about to ask Mr. Smith, have you had an opportunity to review the storm water management plan?
We reviewed it, and the stormwater management design at this time for the sketch plan is compliant with the 2016 stormwater management ordinance in the fact that it does capture the first 1 inch of rainfall and treat it for stormwater quality. In addition, for stormwater quantity, the pre-developed 2-year and 10-year discharge rates are not exceeded by the post-development flows.
Mr. Schlock, are you hearing that?
Yes.
Okay.
The other topic that was brought up was the sewer odor. I really can't speak to that. I'd like to share some information with you. I did reach out to the Berkeley County Public Service Water District and the Berkeley County Public Service Sewer District. Both those agencies had issued intent to serve letters. Normally, it's been my experience when you have a strong odor from the sewer, it's most likely due to a pumping station upstream pumping into a gravity manhole. And if the residence time of that sewage is long within the force main and it's deprived of oxygen or any type of aeration, that's when you're going to get septic conditions. That's where the odor is going to be very strong. I've been involved in other jobs where when the pump upstream cycles, you'll get that odor initially. It'll dissipate. It'll come back as soon as the pump cycles again. I could certainly speak with the Berkeley County Public Service Sewer District, but I can almost guarantee you that those odors that they're describing certainly sound like septic or septage odors to me, which is due to the wastewater not being fresh, so to speak, and being hung up someplace where it has a long residence time with a lack of oxygen.
Mr. Guggenauer, don't you serve on the sewer board?
I do, ma'am, but that's kind of out of my wheelhouse.
It's above your pay grade?
Well, I mean, you have a whole lot more knowledge of how all that works. Excuse me?
Is this pump station?
I don't know that.
I don't know. For some reason, that's what I was wondering.
I can follow up with Rob tomorrow and ask him. Now, he's relatively new since John Wood left the district, but I could certainly pose the question. But, you know, again, it's been my experience, the odors are due to what I described earlier.
Yeah. Mr. Schlock?
What happens is, we've got a pump house down at the other side of Route 11, before the Evans Pump, where all the geese are. And we drive by that on the weekends, and nothing is being done. It seems like it's shut down, and you can smell it from the Route 11. It's really odorous, and I think that the problem is that that's not working properly, and we're getting it backed up. That coming down there, that's the pump. We're pushing it out to the sewer plant someplace.
Have you been in contact with the Berkeley County Public Service Sewer District?
I'll be happy to speak with Curtis tomorrow and see if he has any.
Okay.
I'd also like to add, if I may, that the pump station the gentleman's referring to is on the, this would be on the east side of Route 11. And that, without question, is one of the lower, if not the lowest, normally that's where you put a pumping station, the lowest elevation. So if there is a surcharging or a pump not pumping out, I would think we would see sewage coming to the surface of the station. In other words, it's not going to back up in the lines when there's a gravity vent on top of the wet
I'm
well.
not aware of any of those issues there with that particular pump station. But I'm more than happy to reach out to Mr. Keller tomorrow and see if there's issues with that pump station.
Okay.
There is a smell there a lot all the time when we come by, especially on the weekends. During the middle of the week, I don't notice it, but on the weekends, it's never, I don't know if nobody's attending it or what.
No, they have to attend it 24/7, I think.
I understand. And they have been closed out of that pump. They've had several problems with the pump.
Have you received your intent letters back yet?
I have.
Okay.
I did not make those part of the record because I received them after we were scheduled,
Okay.
or we received staff approval letters of the sketch plan.
Neither water nor sewer took no issues. They said they would provide service.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Water nor sewer
Oh.
took no issues. They said that they would provide service to the subdivision, so.
Okay. But what do we know about the quality of their service? That's something that you'll talk to Mr. Keller about, right?
On the sewer.
Yeah, okay. All right, is there any other questions regarding this project for public hearing? If there are none, let's close the public hearing.
Move public hearing to close.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gokenhour. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Now, we've discussed this. Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions?
Hearing no questions, ma'am? Make the motion, we accept staff recommendation for advancement of sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage, and that I will personally call the sewer district tomorrow and see if there are any issues on Evans Run Drive pump station.
Thank you, thank you.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Slock, he will follow up. If you give him your information, maybe he can give you some feedback from what he finds out. Okay?
267-202.
Well, you might have to write it down.
I got it.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item for public hearing is Butler's Crossing Car Wash.
This is a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Butler's Crossing Car Wash out parcel number 2. File number is 2204-111. The developer is Go Virginia LLC, and the engineer is Integrity Federal Services. This is located at the Mill Creek District Tax Map 6, parcel 55.1. This site is located on Winchester Avenue, approximately 0.15 miles north of Jarrettstown Road. This project proposes a 4,333 square foot automated car wash with manual vacuum stations on 1.23 acres to be served by public water and sewer. There are no waivers or exceptions that have been requested. On May 16, 2022, the county engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the subdivision ordinance. The sketch plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, and therefore staff recommends advancement of the sketch plan to the prelim plan stage.
Do we have anyone to represent Butler's Crossing Car Wash?
Good evening. I'm Mark McDonald with Integrity Federal Services.
Did you say Mark?
Mark McDonald.
Okay. Again, this is a public hearing for Butler's Crossing Car Wash. I don't see anybody that wants to talk.
Move public hearing to closed.
Yeah. No comments from the public. Have a motion from Mr. Goff to close public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing's now closed. Planning Commission members, questions?
There's no question, ma'am. I'll make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for advancement of the sketch plan to preliminary plan stage.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Gokenhour, second from Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to advance the sketch plan to the preliminary plan stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
The next item for public hearing is Weber Springs.
This is a public hearing for request for final plat approval. The project is Weber Springs, Section 3, Phase 2, lots 314 through 318. The file is 2111-417. The developer is Weber Springs LLC, and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 10, parcel 18.5, and is located along Middleway Pike, approximately 1,800 feet south of Sulphur Springs Road. This final plat proposes 5 single-family detached lots on approximately 1.4 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval, contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $95,466 even, plat to be released upon receipt of surety, developer's agreement, and proposed covenants and restrictions.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening. Mike Roberts, represents the project.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing for Weber Springs, Section 3. Questions or comments from the public?
The public hearing be closed.
Let the record show that there is no comments from the public. Motion by Mr. Goff to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, how about you? Do you have questions regarding Weber Springs?
Hearing no question, ma'am. Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $95,466. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety, developer's agreement, and proposed covenants and restrictions.
Second.
I have a motion, Mr. Gokenhour, again second by Mr. Lewis, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $95,466. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
The next and final public hearing is BFS Warm Springs.
Yes, this is a public hearing for a request for waiver. The project is BFS Warm Springs. The file is 2204-119, tied to 2202-053. The developer is BFS Companies, and the engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Apecan District, tax map 6, parcel 8, and is located at the intersection of Mid-Atlantic Parkway and Warm Springs Avenue. This project proposes a 6,832 square foot convenience store and fast food restaurant on approximately 2 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to section 503B of the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance requiring a front setback of 50 feet. The developer would like a reduction to 39 feet to allow for the installation of gas pumps. The actual building structure would be within the 50-foot setback. Staff does not have an issue with proposed gas pumps encroaching into the required 50-foot buffer area. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the waiver to section 503B.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Steve Sianovich, Fox and Associates, representing the applicant.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Questions or comments, please?
The public hearing be closed.
Let the record show that there is no comments, and I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich?
Yes, sir. With the reduction in the setback going from 50 to 39, is there any type of buffer, hard buffer between there and the pumps in case somebody runs off the road or loses control of the vehicle?
With ingress, egress.
The ingress and egress into the site is not along that area.
Okay, and that, and just let me stop here once, Steve.
Sure.
I hadn't yet found my boundaries or my bearings on this lot. Yeah. But it's kind of small, and maybe I need my glasses.
AT&T, may I?
Sure, please.
AT&T's right here.
Okay,
Laura, correct?
Yes, sir.
AT&T's right. It's okay.
Yes.
okay, all right.
We have a stormwater management on here that would be a barrier if somebody really got away from the traveled route.
I'm good.
From the right-of-way line to the gas pump, like the actual pump, not the canopy, it's 53 feet.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you.
I have a question regarding the request for the waiver. Mr. Poffenberger now work for Fox?
Always has, 20+ years.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of, sorry, Jason Gerhardt. I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry. I just saw Mr. Gerhardt out here and then he left and okay.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, we've got that question answered. You have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept staff recommendations for approval of the waiver of section 503.b.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Deal, to accept staff recommendation, that is to grant the waiver, requested. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, the last item, 2 items is Cardinal Point, Section 2.
Yes, it's a request for final plat determination. The project is Cardinal Point, Section 2, Phase 2, lots 516 through 527, 552 through 575, and 600 through 611. The file is 2204-108. The developer's Panhandle Homes and the engineer's Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 9, parcel 11.7, and is located along the north side of Hammonds Mill Road, west of St. Andrews Drive. This phase proposes 48 townhome lots on 4.77 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the November 5th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted to grant a waiver to allow 3 on-site parking spaces instead of 2 on-site and 1 off-site. At the September 16th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted to grant a waiver to Section 502.1 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance relating to the requirement of 2 points of access onto a public road or a WVDOH right-of-way for a development of 100 lots or greater, contingent on bonding of Serena Drive encumbered by the authorized access road. No reduction and or release of the surety on Serena Drive will be approved until the temporary serviceable road is built. On May 16th, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance. Final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the July 5th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Anyone to represent the project?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates representing the applicant.
Okay. You know, you're just about the only person left in there. Planning Commission members, do you have questions?
Okay, now, ma'am, we'll make a motion that we accept staff recommendation. Final plat determination advertised for public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the July 5th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Have a motion, Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Lewis, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval at a public hearing on July 5. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay, don't go anywhere.
All right, this is another request for final plat determination for Cardinal Point Section 3, Phase 2, lots 153 through 160, 207 through 223, 234 through 243, and 255 through 266. The file is 2204-107, the developer's Panhandle Homes and the engineer's Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 9, parcel 11.7. It is located along the north side of Hammond's Mill Road, west of St. Andrews Drive. This case proposes 47 single-family lots on 13.87 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the November 5th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to allow 3 on-site parking spaces instead of 2 on-site and 1 off-site. At the September 16th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 502(1) of the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance relating to the requirement of 2 points of access onto a public road or WVDOH right-of-way for development of 100 lots or greater, contingent on bonding of Serena Drive encumbered by the authorized access road. No reduction and or release of the surety on Serena Drive will be approved until the temporary serviceable road is built. On May 16th, 2022, County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was completed and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the July 5th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Sianovich.
Representing the applicant.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions?
There are no questions. I'll make the recommendation. We accept staff recommendations for final plat determination and advertising of public hearing for consideration of the final plat approval at the July 5th, 2022 Planning Commission.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing for final plat approval at the July 5, 2022 meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Planning Commission, staff, we have anything to talk about tonight?
The only thing I have is, we did complete the MS4 ordinance. I understand that's with county council. We're waiting to hear back whether we need to do revisions or amendments. Once that's done, we'll pick back up with the subdivision ordinance. Because as I wrote the MS4 ordinance, I wrote it with everything in mind for the subdivision ordinance. So writing all that back in now, the two won't be disconnected as they are. So we're kind of in a holding pattern for county council, just to let you know. And I know some asked Brian some questions, and I'm just putting it out there.
Appreciate you following up with that. And Mr. Gokenhour is gonna check on it as well from his standpoint, find out what is going on.
Right, if you're saying, if I need to come on Thursday and answer questions, I'll be more than happy to, you know, or need anything.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll check,
Okay.
see what we are with.
Okay. Guess what, Mr. Goff?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Goff at 6:56. Second by Mr. Deal. All those in favor?
Aye.